Captain June Kim felt like someone was watching him. Again. He stood by the window of his office at the Earth Defense Force headquarters in Seoul. Rain hit the glass as he looked at the city below. The feeling had followed him for weeks now. Home, at work, even when he was alone. June had worked in military intelligence for 20 years. He knew better than to ignore his gut feelings. Something was off, and he was going to find out what. His office door opened. Dr. Hana Park walked in, holding a tablet. Her face looked worried. Hana was usually calm, but today her hand shook a little. "Captain Kim, I need to show you something," she said. June nodded. "What's wrong?" Hana placed her tablet on his desk. On the screen, strange patterns flashed across, a map of Earth. "These are readings from my new quantum sensors," she explained. "I was testing them to detect small changes in energy fields, but I found these instead." June looked closer. The patterns moved around major cities and military bases. They appeared and disappeared without any pattern a normal person would notice. But June wasn't normal. His training had taught him to spot what others missed. "How long have you been tracking these?" he asked. 3 weeks, Hana said. "At first, I thought they were errors in the system, but they're real, Captain, and they're everywhere." June touched the screen, zooming in on Seoul. Several of the strange readings moved around their very building. "What exactly am I looking at, Dr. Park?" Hana took a deep breath. "Invisibility fields, very advanced ones. They bend light around, whatever is inside them. Our normal cameras and sensors can't pick them up." June felt a chill run down his spine. His instincts had been right. They were being watched. "How can your sensors detect them if they're invisible?" he asked. "The quantum sensors don't look for light," Hana explained. "They detect tiny changes in the space around us. These fields create small wrinkles in space that my sensors can find." June walked back to the window, scanning the rainy city. Somewhere out there, invisible eyes were watching. The question was, whose eyes? "Have you told anyone else about this?" he asked. "No, just you," Hana said. "I didn't know who to trust." June nodded. That was smart. If there were invisible watchers among them, they couldn't know that humans had discovered them. "They think they're ghosts," June said quietly. "But they've never faced human intuition before." He called his assistant on the intercom. "Get me General Su, top security line, and clear my schedule for the rest of the day." Turning back to Hana, he asked, "How many of these sensors do you have?" 5 prototypes, she answered. "I need more. How fast can you make them?" Hana thought for a moment. "With proper funding and help, maybe 20 more in 2 weeks. You'll have whatever you need," June promised, "and I want them hidden. If someone is watching us with this technology, they might be looking for sensors that can detect them." The intercom buzzed. "General Su is on line 1, sir." June picked up the phone. "General, we need to meet, now. Security level Alpha." He paused. "Yes, sir, it's that important." After hanging up, he turned to Hana. "Dr. Park, welcome to the most classified project on Earth. From now on, you report only to me." Hana looked nervous but determined. "What are we calling this project?" June thought for a moment. "Project Whisper, because soon we're going to whisper right back to whoever's watching us." 3 days later, June sat in a small, secure room deep below the main building. The walls were lined with special material that blocked all signals from getting in or out. General Su had given him full access to the facility and a small team of trusted experts. On the screens around him, Hana's sensors showed invisible movements around key locations worldwide. Military bases, research labs, government buildings, even the homes of important scientists and leaders. The door opened, and Lieutenant Taeyong Lee walked in. He was June's most trusted officer, an expert in covert operations. "Sir, the security measures you requested are in place," Taeyong reported. "No one enters the lab without triple verification." "Good," June said. "Any progress on tracking their movements?" "Yes, sir." Taeyong pointed to one of the screens. "Dr. Park's sensors picked up patterns. They change guards every 8 hours. They never enter certain buildings, just watch from outside, and they seem most interested in our weapons research. June frowned. That confirmed his fears. These weren't just observers. They were gathering military intelligence. What about Dr. Choi? Has he arrived yet? He's waiting outside, Taeyong said. Bring him in. Dr. Doyen Choi was the world's top expert in language patterns and communication systems. He had developed translation programs used by intelligence agencies worldwide. If anyone could help them communicate with whatever was watching them, it was Doyen. The older man walked in, looking confused. Captain Kim, your message was very mysterious. What's this urgent matter that requires my expertise? June gestured to a chair. Dr. Choi, what I'm about to tell you will sound impossible, but I need you to listen carefully. Over the next hour, June and Hana explained what they had discovered. Doyen's expression changed from doubt to shock to intense interest. Incredible, he said finally. And you believe these are not human? The technology is too advanced, Hana explained. No nation on Earth has invisibility fields this perfect, and they've been watching us for who knows how long, June added. We need to establish communication, but on our terms. That's where you come in. Doyen nodded slowly. I'll need data. Anything that might help me understand how they communicate. Doctor. Park is working on that, June said. Her sensors detected unusual energy patterns that might be their version of talking. Hana pulled up a new screen showing wave patterns. These energy pulses occur when two invisible entities are near each other. They're below human hearing range, but they follow patterns too regular to be random. Doyen leaned forward, suddenly excited. Subsonic communication. Fascinating. Many animals on Earth use it. Elephants, whales. It travels farther than regular sound. For the first time since discovering the invisible watchers, June felt a spark of hope. If they could understand the visitor's language, maybe they could turn this potential threat into an opportunity. How long until we can say something they'll understand? June asked. Doyen thought for a moment. With this data, maybe 2 months to develop basic phrases. Less if we're lucky. June shook his head. We don't have 2 months. I need results in 3 weeks. That's impossible, Doyen protested. So is perfect invisibility technology, June countered. Yet someone has it, and they're using it to spy on us right now. Find a way, Doctor. Taeyong, who had been quiet, spoke up. Sir, shouldn't we inform more of the government? The president should know. Not yet, June said firmly. The fewer people who know, the better. These beings have been watching us for a long time without being detected. That means they're patient and careful. If they realize we can see them, we lose our advantage. He stood up and looked at each member of his small team. For now, we watch them watching us, we learn their patterns, and we prepare to do something no one expects. What's that, sir? Taeyong asked. June's face was serious. We're going to whisper in their ear when they least expect it, and remind them that humans are not as blind as they think. Outside the secure room, rain continued to fall on Seoul, and somewhere in that rain, invisible eyes watched, unaware that they had already been discovered. 3 months passed quickly. The small underground lab had changed. What started as a few computers and screens now looked like a command center. Maps covered the walls. Strange devices sat on tables. People moved with purpose, speaking in hushed tones. Captain June Kim looked tired. Dark circles showed under his eyes. He hadn't gone home in 3 days. But he felt more alive than ever. Show me the latest data, he said to Dr. Hana Park. Hana tapped on her tablet. The main screen lit up with a world map. Hundreds of small dots moved across it. We've found more of them, she said. Much more than we thought. They're on every continent, in every major city. June nodded slowly. Any patterns? Yes. They rotate positions every 8 hours. They never go into certain areas, like religious buildings or hospitals. And they seem very interested in our military and science facilities. Lieutenant Taeyong Lee walked in with fresh coffee for everyone. The good news is they're predictable. Their movements follow strict patterns. We can almost always know where they'll be next. June took a sip of coffee. What about the disruptors? Hana smiled for the first time in days. That's our big breakthrough. We can now create a small field that disrupts their invisibility technology, but only for about 3 seconds. 3 seconds is enough, June said. Are they ready for testing? Yes. We have 5 working prototypes. June turned to Taeyong. Get the team ready. We test tonight. Taeyong looked worried. Sir, what if they detect us disrupting their technology? They might take action. That's why we're only doing it for 3 seconds, June explained. Not long enough for them to trace it back to us, and we'll only target isolated observers. Dr. Doyun Choi entered, the room carrying a thick folder. The language expert had been working non-stop for weeks. I have something, he announced. Based on the energy patterns we've recorded, I think I've identified basic elements of their communication. Everyone turned to him with surprise. You've decoded their language? June asked. Not fully, Doyen admitted. But I've identified patterns that repeat when they communicate with each other. Some might be greetings, status reports, or location markers. He spread papers across the table. They showed wave patterns with notes written beside them. They use subsonic frequencies, sounds too low for humans to hear naturally, but the patterns are language-like, very structured, not random. June looked at the patterns. Can we replicate these sounds? Yes, Doyon said. We've built a device that can produce the same frequencies. We can't have a conversation yet, but we might be able to say simple things like hello or we see you. June smiled. Perfect. Add that to tonight's test. He turned to address everyone. Listen up. Tonight we move from watching to acting. If it works, we'll have proof these beings can be affected by our technology. If not, we try again, but remember, this stays completely secret. The team nodded. They all understood the stakes. That night, Taeyong drove a plain van to a remote area outside Seoul. Satellite data showed an invisible observer regularly patrolled this area every night at 11 p.m. Hana sat in the back with her equipment. The quantum sensors are active, no sign of them yet. June checked his watch. 10:55 p.m. They'll be here soon. Everyone ready? Taeyong gripped the steering wheel. Ready, sir. Doyun adjusted his sound equipment. Ready. They waited in silence. At exactly 11 p.m., Hana whispered, Contact, northwest corner of the field, moving east. June peered through the darkness. He could see nothing, but the sensors showed something moving across the empty field. Something person-sized, but definitely not human. Distance, he asked. 50 meters and holding, Hana said. It stopped. June made his decision. Activate the disruptor. 3 seconds only. Hana pressed a button on her device. For 3 seconds, nothing seemed to happen. Then they all saw, in the darkness of the field stood a tall figure, at least 7 feet tall. Its skin reflected the moonlight with a strange, shifting glow. Multiple eyes blinked with surprise. For 3 seconds, human and alien stared at each other across the field. Then the figure vanished as the disruptor turned off. Did you see that? Taeyong gasped. Everyone did, June said calmly, though his heart raced. Dr. Choi now. Doyen activated his sound device. It made no noise they could hear, but the sensors showed it was working. They watched the dot on the screen. It had moved back several steps. Then it froze in place. It heard us, Doyen said with wonder. It's listening. After a moment, the dot moved quickly away from them faster than any human could run. It's retreating, Hana said. June nodded. Good. Let's go before more come to investigate. As they drove back to the base, no one spoke for several minutes. They had seen what no other humans had knowingly seen before. They're real, Taeyong finally said. Actually real. And now they know we can see them, June added. But they don't know how or who. That gives us an advantage. Back at the base, June called an emergency meeting. The success of the test had changed everything. From now on, We work under the assumption that they know something happened, he told the team. They might increase their surveillance. They might become more careful. What's our next step? Hana asked. We need more disruptors and better communication, June said. Dr. Park, can you make the disruptors work longer? Hana thought for a moment. Maybe, but the longer we disrupt their technology, the more likely they can trace it back to us. We need just enough time to deliver a message, June said. He turned to Doyon. How close are we to being able to say something they'll understand? With what we learned tonight, I can refine our phrases, Doyon said, but it would help to know more about their language structure. June nodded. Then we need to observe more of their communications. He walked to the map on the wall. We need to identify pairs of them communicating, record everything, find patterns. Over. The next few weeks, the team worked nonstop. Hana improved the disruptors. Doyon studied hours of alien communications. Taeyong set up observation points around the city to gather more data, and June planned their most daring move yet. We need to make direct contact, he announced one day. Not just a few seconds of visibility, not just sounds they might understand. We need to talk to them. The room fell silent. How? Taeyong finally asked. June pointed to a building on the map. Intelligence suggests a single observer monitors this location every night. We'll set up there. When they arrive, we use the improved disruptor. Then we talk to them. What if they're dangerous? Hana asked. They've been watching us for years without attacking, June said. If they wanted to hurt us, they've had plenty of chances. What will you say to them? Doyon asked. June smiled. The truth. That humans can sense things machines can't detect. That we've felt their presence all along. That it's time we talked face to face. He looked at each member of his team. This is what Project Whisper has been working toward. The moment when we whisper back to those who thought they were invisible. That night, as the team prepared their equipment for the encounter, June stood alone by the window. Soon, humanity would take its first step into a larger universe. And it would start with a whisper. We see you, June practiced saying. We've always seen you. Outside, the stars shone in the night sky. And somewhere out there, invisible watchers had no idea their secret was already known. June stood alone in the empty conference room. The building was quiet at this late hour. Only security guards walked the halls of the International Space Coalition headquarters in Geneva. He checked his earpiece. All systems ready? Ready, came Hana's voice. The sensors show our visitor will arrive in about 2 minutes. They're very punctual. Disruptor? June asked. Charged and ready, Taeyong confirmed from his position in a room next door. 10 seconds of visibility, just like we planned. And the translation device? June asked. As ready as it can be, Doyon replied. I've loaded the basic greetings we practiced. Remember to speak slowly. June took a deep breath. After weeks of planning, the moment had arrived. His team was hidden in nearby rooms monitoring everything. But he would face the alien alone. The quantum sensors in his pocket buzzed silently. Their visitor had arrived. June looked at the empty space near the conference table. According to the sensors, something stood there. Something that thought it was invisible. Activate disruptor on my mark, June whispered. 3, 2, 1, mark. A small hum filled the room. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the air shimmered. Colors swirled. And suddenly, a tall being stood before him. It had smooth skin that shifted colors like oil on water. Its body was humanoid but too tall, too thin to be human. Its face had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, all blinking rapidly in what looked like shock. June kept his face calm, though his heart raced. He needed to speak before the 10 seconds ended. We see you, he said clearly. We have always seen you. The alien stepped back, its hand moving to a device on its wrist. No need for that, June said, pointing to the device. We are not here to harm you, we want to talk. The alien froze. Its skin flashed rapid colors. Blue, red, purple. Its 4 eyes focused intently on June. Impossible, it said in a voice that sounded like several people talking at once. Its English was accented but clear. Our technology is flawless. Not against human perception, June replied calmly. We sensed you before we could prove you were there. The disruptor's hum changed pitch. Their time was running out. I am Captain June Kim of Earth, he said quickly. If you wish to speak further, return here tomorrow at this time. Alone. The disruptor turned off. The alien vanished from sight, but the sensors showed it remained in the room. June walked calmly to the door. Think about my offer. We will be waiting. Back in their temporary base across the street, his team greeted him with amazed faces. It spoke English, Taeyong said. They've been watching us for years, Doyun reminded him. They've had time to learn our languages. Hana checked her sensors. It's still in the building, moving around a lot. Probably reporting to others, June said. Now we wait. The next night, they returned to the same room. This time they brought more equipment. At exactly midnight, the sensors detected movement. Their visitor had returned, but not alone. 2 signatures. Hana whispered in June's ear. One by the door, one approaching you. June nodded slightly. Let's start with just the one closest to me. The disruptor activated. The alien from the previous night appeared, its skin now a calm blue color. You came back, June said. Your detection of us, the alien began, is unexpected. We have many unexpected qualities, June replied. Do you have a name? The alien made a series of clicking sounds. In your language, I am called Observer Valzek of the Nirkai Consortium. June nodded. The Nirkai Consortium. How many species are part of this group? 17 advanced civilizations, Valzek replied. We observe developing worlds. How long have you been watching Earth? 50 of your years. June tried not to show his surprise. 50 years of invisible aliens watching humanity's every move. And your purpose? He asked. To determine if humans are ready to join the galactic community, Valzek said, or if you pose a threat that requires containment. The word containment hung in the air between them. And your conclusion? June asked carefully. Inconclusive, Valzek replied. Until now. This changes everything. The disruptor began to lose power. Valzek started to fade from view. Wait, June said quickly. We need to establish proper communication. Our technology can only make you visible for short periods. That will not be necessary, Valzek said. As the disruptor failed completely, something unexpected happened. The alien remained visible. We can control our invisibility, Valzek explained, touching the device on its wrist. It is a choice, not a permanent state, June signaled his team through his earpiece. Stand down. Our guest is being cooperative. Valzek's 4 eyes blinked in sequence. You have others nearby? Yes, June admitted. My team. They helped develop the technology to detect your presence. Bring them, Valzek said. And I will bring my companion. It is time for proper introductions. Soon, the room held an unusual gathering. June, Hana, Taeyong, and Doyun faced Valzek and another alien with red-tinted skin. This is Senior Observer Meklix, Valzek introduced his companion. We are both from the Observation Division of the Nirkai Consortium. June introduced his team. Dr. Hana Park developed the quantum sensors that detected your presence. Lieutenant Taeyong Lee handles our security. Dr. Doyun Choi studied your communication patterns. Meklix spoke for the first time. How did you detect us? Our technology bends light perfectly. Hana stepped forward with her tablet. Light, yes, but you create quantum disturbances. Very small but detectable with the right equipment. And before that? Valzek asked. Captain Kim said you sensed our presence before you could prove it. June smiled slightly. Human intuition. Many humans can feel when they're being watched. It's an evolutionary trait from our days as both predator and prey. The aliens looked at each other, their skin changing colors rapidly. No other species we've observed has this ability, Meklix said. Not to this degree. There's a lot about humans you might find surprising, June said. if you're willing to talk openly instead of just watching from the shadows. Valzek seemed to consider this. The High Command must be informed of this development. They will want to speak with your leaders. I think that can be arranged, June said, but first I have many questions. As do we, Valzek replied. You have changed 50 years of careful observation in a single day, Captain Kim. June looked at the aliens, then at his team. The world had just become much bigger, and humanity's place in it was about to change forever. Then let's start with the easy questions, he said, and work our way to the difficult ones. As the night progressed, humans and aliens began to learn about each other, not as observer and observed, but as equals meeting for the first time. By morning, plans were made for formal contact between Earth's leaders and the Nirkai Consortium. The shadows had given way to light, and the Watchers had become partners in a new chapter of human history. All because someone had whispered to those who thought they couldn't be seen. 1 week after first contact, a large ship appeared in Earth's orbit. It did not try to hide. It wanted to be seen. The ship was smooth and oval-shaped with no sharp edges. It glowed with a soft blue light. Earth's military forces went on high, alert, but no hostile actions came from the ship. Instead, a message arrived at every major government simultaneously. We request a formal meeting with Earth representatives. In the underground base in Seoul, June and his team watched the news. Reports about the ship. They're not hiding anymore, Taeyong said. They don't need to, Hana replied. The whole world knows they're here now. June's phone rang. It was General Su. Captain Kim, you and your team are needed immediately, the general said. Your expertise with these visitors is now essential. A diplomatic team is being assembled. You will lead the human delegation. Yes, sir, June said. When do we leave? 2 hours. Be ready. After hanging up, June looked at his team. Pack your bags. We're going to meet the Nirkai Consortium. The shuttle ride to the alien ship was tense but smooth. June, Hana, Taeyong, and Doyoon sat in special seats designed for the high-speed journey to orbit. With them were 2 government officials who looked nervous. Remember, June told everyone, they've been studying us for decades. They know our languages, our customs, but they've never interacted with us directly until now. We have the advantage of being unpredictable. As they approached the massive ship, a doorway opened in its smooth side. The shuttle was guided inside by invisible forces. When they stepped out, Valzek waited for them in what looked like a reception area. The walls glowed with soft light. The air smelled clean with a hint of something like cinnamon. Welcome aboard, Captain Kim, Valzek said. The High Command awaits your delegation. They walked through curved hallways. Other aliens moved around them, some turning visible to observe the humans, others remaining invisible but detectable by the small sensors Hana carried. Why do some stay invisible? June asked. Habit, Valzek replied. For many observers, invisibility has been their natural state for decades. Some find it uncomfortable to be seen. They entered a large circular room. 7 different alien beings sat in a half-circle. Each looked completely different from the others. In the center sat a tall being with gray skin and 6 arms. I am High Commander Rezik of the Nirkai Consortium, it said. Its voice was deep and clear. For 12,000 years we have observed developing civilizations throughout this sector of the galaxy. No species has detected our presence before we chose to reveal ourselves. Your accomplishment defies our understanding. June stepped forward. Thank you for meeting with us, High Commander. We came seeking answers about your presence on our world. And we seek answers about how you detected us, Rezik replied. Doyen moved forward with a small device. Perhaps I can help explain. Human history is filled with stories of sensing the unseen, intuition that saved lives, detected danger, or found opportunity where instruments saw nothing. He activated a screen showing various human cultural references to sixth sense and intuition. Many humans can sense when they are being watched, Doyen continued. It's a feeling we get. Hard to explain, but very real. Hana stepped up next. And once we suspected something was there, I developed sensors to detect the quantum disturbances your invisibility technology creates. She showed her data. Your technology bends light perfectly, but it creates subtle quantum patterns. More importantly, it doesn't account for the full spectrum of human perception. The aliens conferred among themselves, their skin changing colors rapidly. Rezek turned back to the humans. In all our observations, we have never encountered a species with such sensitivity. Another alien spoke up. This one had blue skin and no visible eyes. We would like to share something with you. Large screens appeared around the room. They showed images of Earth from different time periods: ancient Rome, medieval Europe, World War II, the moon landing, recent climate protests. We have observed 53 developing civilizations, Rezek explained. None have developed as chaotically or as brilliantly as humans. You are uniquely unpredictable. Taeyong watched the images carefully. Then he understood. You're afraid of us, he said suddenly. The room fell silent. Not afraid, Rezek finally said. Cautious. Your species can be violent, resourceful, and now we learn you can sense beyond normal perception. This combination is concerning. June stepped forward. We don't want conflict, but we won't be watched without our knowledge again. If you want to understand humans, talk to us directly. Rezek's many arms moved in what might have been a sign of agreement. Perhaps that is best, but there is another matter we must discuss. The screens changed to show new images. Strange ships that were neither human nor Nirkai design. There are other powers in the galaxy, Rezek said. Not all are as peaceful as the consortium. Some would see humanity as a resource to be exploited, others as a threat to be eliminated. Your world is entering a dangerous period. Are you offering protection? June asked carefully. We are offering partnership, Rezek replied. Your unique abilities combined with our technology could benefit both our peoples. Hana looked suspicious. What exactly would this partnership involve? Knowledge, exchange, trade, cultural understanding, and yes, mutual defense. Rezek's many eyes blinked in sequence, but most importantly, recognition. Recognition? Doyen asked. Official acknowledgement of humanity as an emerging galactic civilization, Rezek explained. With all rights and responsibilities that entails. June looked at his team, then back at the aliens. This is not a decision we can make alone. Our world leaders must be consulted. Of course, Rezek agreed. But there is one more thing you should know. The screens showed a final set of images. Unusual energy readings near the outer planets of the solar system. Unknown vessels have been detected approaching your system, Rezek said. They are not consortium ships. You have attracted attention, Captain Kim. Not all of it welcome. June felt the weight of this new information. What had started as a mystery about invisible watchers had become something much bigger. How long do we have? He asked. Days, perhaps weeks. Rezek stood towering over the humans. We will remain in orbit and provide what assistance we can, but the choice of how to proceed must be Earth's. As the meeting ended and the human delegation prepared to return to Earth, June pulled Valzek aside. You knew about these other aliens approaching? He said. Is that why you revealed yourselves now? Valzek's skin rippled with colors. Partly, but mainly because you changed the equation, Captain Kim. When you whispered to us, you proved humanity was ready for the truth. And what truth is that? June asked. That you are not alone, Valzek replied, and that the universe is both more wonderful and more dangerous than you ever imagined. The shuttle ride back to Earth was quiet, each person lost in thoughts about what they had learned and what might come next. One thing was certain, the world would never be the same. The shadows had been lifted, and humanity now faced the light of a much larger universe, with all its promise and all its threats. 6 months passed quickly. The world had changed forever. June stood at the window of his new office, looking out at the strange purple sky of Nirkai Prime. As Earth's first ambassador to the consortium, he now lived on the aliens' homeworld. The tall buildings outside shimmered with colors no human had seen before June's team made first contact. A soft chime sounded, and Hana entered the room. She wore the formal blue uniform of the Earth Diplomatic Corps. "The Council is ready for you, Ambassador Kim," she said with a smile. June nodded. "How do the readings look?" "The unknown ships that were approaching Earth have changed course," Hana reported. "The consortium's protection seems to be working." "For now," June said. "But we need to be ready to protect ourselves." "How is Taeyong's project coming along?" "Very well. The consortium has been surprisingly helpful with the defense technology." They walked together through the curved hallways of the embassy. Earth had built this place in record time, with help from their new alien allies. It stood as a symbol of humanity's new place in the galaxy. In the meeting room, familiar faces waited. Doyun sat with his translation devices. Taeyong stood looking at star maps. And Valzek, now the official consortium liaison to Earth, stood, with several other alien representatives. "Ambassador Kim," Valzek greeted him. "The Grand Council is most interested in your report on human integration into galactic affairs." June took his place at the front of the room. Screens appeared around him showing the progress Earth had made in just 6 months. "Thank you all for coming," June began. "Earth has begun adapting consortium technology to our needs, as permitted by our treaty. Our scientists are working well with yours." He showed images of new buildings on Earth built with advanced materials, clean energy plants that produce no pollution, medical facilities that could cure diseases humans had fought for centuries. "But our greatest contribution to this partnership is uniquely human," June continued. He nodded to Doyun, who activated a new set of screens. These showed human artists creating works that fascinated aliens, human music that alien species found deeply moving, human stories that gave new ideas to civilizations thousands of years older than Earth's. "Our creativity and intuition are unlike anything in the consortium," June explained. "Where your civilizations value order and careful planning, humans excel at improvisation and unexpected solutions." The alien representatives changed colors in what June had learned was a sign of agreement. "Hi." Commander Rezik spoke next. "The consortium has existed for 12,000 years. In that time, we have encountered many young civilizations, but none have adapted as quickly as humans. Or detected our observers," added another alien counselor. June smiled slightly. "That brings me to our most important project." He signaled to Taeyong, who stepped forward. "Lieutenant Lee has been working with your defense experts," June explained. "His team has discovered something important about the unknown vessels that approached our system." Taeyong activated his own screens. "These ships use technology similar to your invisibility fields, but more advanced. They weren't just hiding their appearance. They were hiding their intentions." The screens showed new sensor readings, complex patterns that seemed to shift and change. "We believe they were using quantum fields not just to become invisible, but to mask their thoughts," Taeyong continued. "A form of psychic shielding." The alien council members shifted uncomfortably. This was clearly new information to them. "How did you determine this?" Rezik asked. Hana stepped forward. "Because humans could sense them anyway. The same intuition that let us feel your observers let us sense these ships had hostile intent, even through their shielding." She displayed new data. "We've developed sensors based on this human perception. They can detect intentions, not just physical presence." The council room filled with the soft sounds of aliens talking among themselves. June waited patiently. This revelation would change everything. Rezik finally spoke. "In all our years of development, we never created such technology. We never thought it possible. Because you lack human intuition," June said simply. "What you call a sixth sense is normal for us. We've just learned to measure it and use it." Valzek's colors shifted to deep blue, a sign of respect. "This could change the balance of power in the galaxy." "It already has," June replied. "The ships retreated because they realized we could sense their true intentions. They no longer have the advantage of surprise." He walked to the center of The room where a holographic map of the galaxy appeared. For too long, the consortium has played a defensive game, June said. Hiding, watching, waiting. But with human perception combined with your technology, we can take a more active role in shaping a safer galaxy for all peaceful species. Rezik's many arms moved in a gesture June now recognized as thoughtful consideration. What exactly are you proposing, Ambassador Kim? A new division within the consortium, June answered. One that uses human intuition and perception alongside your advanced technology, not to hide but to reveal threats before they materialize. He looked around at the alien faces. No more invisible observers. Instead, open ambassadors who can sense deception and danger. The council debated for hours. Some were afraid of changing. 12,000 years of tradition. Others saw the wisdom in June's plan. In the end, Rezik made the final decision. The human advantage cannot be ignored, the High Commander announced. We approve this new division. Ambassador Kim will oversee its creation. As the meeting ended, June and his team walked back to the Earth Embassy. The purple sky had darkened to deep indigo as night approached. Do you think it will work? Taeyong asked. It has to, June replied. The galaxy is filled with species who have relied on staying hidden to gain advantage. That age is ending. He stopped at the embassy entrance, looking up at the Earth flag that flew beside the consortium symbol. For thousands of years, humans have told stories about feeling unseen, presences, about knowing when they were being watched, he said. We thought it was superstition. Now we know it was evolution preparing us for this moment. Hana smiled. Who would have thought our greatest contribution to galactic civilization would be our feelings? Not just feelings, Doyun corrected. Intuition. The ability to perceive beyond the obvious, June nodded. The ability to whisper to those who thought they were invisible. That night, as the alien world's 3 moons rose in the sky, June sent his weekly report back to Earth. The final lines read, Humanity's place in the stars was not won through superior weapons or technology. It was earned through our unique perception, our ability to sense what others cannot see. The species that once watched us from the shadows now stand beside us in the light. And together, we face a universe where nothing truly remains invisible for long. In the vast expanse of the galaxy, countless civilizations continued their ancient ways. But a new force had emerged, one that combined human intuition with advanced alien technology. A force that could whisper into the darkness, "We see you," and the darkness could no longer hide. End of story.